Yo, what's up guys? What is going on? Welcome back. Hope y'all are doing well. Switzerland versus England. I'm a little disgusted, I'm gonna say. It feels like I'm not, even though maybe some of you might think yes you are, but you just don't know. So I might be an English fan and I don't realize it, but I did want England to win, just not like this. These 90 minutes were just absolutely it was a snooze fest. It was boring and more of the same. Again, more of the same. The only difference being that they looked a lot more comfortable on the ball. That was it. But there was no surprise, no attacking. They were slow. And most of these play, besides Kane and Bellingham, most of these play in the English Premier League. That's the staple of fast-paced football. I would think so, right? There's no sign of that at all in any of these players. And it's just frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And maybe it could also be because of yesterday's game, which, by the way, I didn't get to upload the France versus Portugal game because of work. So I might do it tomorrow. But, you know, and I don't expect every game to be the same. But, I mean, yesterday's game, Germany, Spain, France, Portugal, those games were amazing. Those games were so good. But I expected this to be a little bit more upbeat just because of Switzerland, because of the way Switzerland have been playing. And Switzerland also didn't bring their A game. You know, they seemed like they weren't as engaged as they were in previous games. And it's not like they played bad. I thought the Swiss did everything that they could do, but they didn't have that dynamic that they did in the other games. So that was a little disappointing. I thought they did well. They obviously scored the first goal. And I honestly thought that they were going to win this. I wanted England to win, but I just felt that, like many people, I think I'm not the only one to say this, that Switzerland were the better side, at least coming up into this game. And yet, they weren't their usual selves. They weren't their usual selves. You know, that penalty at the end with the kanji, I expected something better. And I think when you're going to take, and most of them were taking these short distance penalties, but I think if you're going to take that sort of penalty, that short distance, you know, the range of motion, the follow through, if you're a right-footed player, that's got to go to your left foot. You know, because even if the goalie guesses the shot, the potency, the power is going to be able to overtake the goalie, even if he guesses it. But if you're going to go to, you know, straight, I mean, that's kind of hard. You're going to have to poke it, you know, to be able to beat the goalie. So I didn't get that. That was a badly taken penalty kick. Kind of disappointed with Kanji, a supposed math genius, right? And I've seen him. I've seen some of those videos. He's really good. That penalty, man, he didn't calculate that right. And I know, like, look, Saka got his penalty at the end. I know that was a big deal because of 2021, and he did play. He did have a really good first half. But again, what are the standards? The bar is set so low that y'all know I don't like Saka, right? But it's gonna sound like I'm taking away this from him, but he had a really good first half. Second half, all he did was score the goal, which is all he needs to do, right? Kind of like Mbappe, you know, sometimes, or lately, as of lately, Mbappe doesn't really do much, and then he ends up scoring 2 goals, and that's all he needs to do, you know. And he's up there as one of the, you know, he's in everybody's mouth, you know, when you think of the best players of the modern time. That first half, look, with Abisher, I mean, you know, he was just eating him up. And he did so with what I always say, like, go forward, drive forward, stop going backwards, stop cutting in like you always do. That's so predictable. You know, use your right foot, even though he needs to train. He needs to, seriously, he needs to practice his right foot. He seriously needs to practice his right foot. There was a play, I think it was Jude Bellingham that gave him, Jude Bellingham gave him a pass. And no pressure, all the time in the world to pick out whoever, I think Kane or whoever was going to go inside the box. And he just ends up just skying it all the way to the other side for a throw-in, right? But besides that, look, man, he was really good at just driving through. I mean, the power, the strength is there, and that's what he needs to use. I mean, I don't know why Arteta, that's another reason why I don't think he's a great coach. There isn't that proper instruction of go forward, drive forward, you're strong, you're fast. And he did that. He did that in this game. And especially in the first half, he did that really, really well. And then in the second half, I mean, he was kind of like absent for most of the game until the goal. And I mean, so many bodies. That was, to me, they were saying that, oh, there's nothing Sommer could have done. I think he could have done something. Dive, at least. He was just rooted. He didn't do anything. There were a lot of bodies, yes, so he didn't see it. It caught him off surprise. And that was a really great shot. That was a really, really good shot. I mean, typical of him. That's what he does. That's his you know, that's his go-to, that's his strength. So I expect him to at least with that space that he had and having it on his left foot to at least get a good strike on the ball. And what a goal it was. And then afterwards, you see, like, oh, is England trying to hurry up? And then Switzerland as well. And then extra time, both teams. At that point, I kind of lost interest in the game. I'm not going to lie to you. Both teams were trying. Both teams had an opportunity. The Olympic goal, the almost Olympic goal from Shaqiri. And then Zuber coming in and switching it for Widmer. Had that ball been a little bit less powerful, Pickford was going to be caught off. He was going to be caught off because Widmer was going to get to the ball before him. But luckily for him, and unfortunately for Vidmer, the ball ended up passing both of them. So, and then Saka came to be able to defend. And that's what I'm talking about. He's really good at that. He should be a left back. Y'all can say whatever you want, but Saka to me is a wing back. He'd make an excellent wing back. He'd be such a good wing back. So there were a lot of opportunities for Switzerland to be able to score, just like there were some opportunities for England. But another thing that really bugs me is the subs that came on. It came after Switzerland scored a goal. So for 90 minutes, nothing was happening. It was the monotonous thing. The same thing that happened in the last game was just flatlining. The same thing, and there was no switches. Switzerland made their switches around, I think it was the 50th minute or halftime, and England waited till the 70th minute to make their switches. Right after the goal, after the fact that they scored a goal. Why in the hell? Now, I thought Eze did really well, as this Ivan Toney. Palmer just looks like he lost a lot of confidence because he came in and he does what he does. He likes to look forward. He likes to go vertical. He's trying to look for those gaps that nobody else picks out. Nobody. Foden doesn't do that. Jude Bellingham sometimes does that. Rice definitely doesn't do that. Walker's not going to do that. Kane, I mean, he's up in the front. Obviously, he can't do that. Like, nobody's doing that. Maybe the only one, Trent Alexander-Arnold, that does that when he's playing in Liverpool. And it was him trying to find somebody between the spaces, and he just couldn't find anybody. And then his other alternative was just to whip it in for, I guess, Kane, even though Kane wasn't doing nothing. So what was the point of that? That was useless. And he kept on trying, just those in-swingers, just throwing it inside the box. It almost felt like just for the sake of just going forward. And what pisses me off is that when he didn't have the ball, you could see him trying to go in between the lines, between the back and the middle. And of course, he was just lost. He was never going to get the ball there because nobody was ever going to pass him the ball. Like I said again, no one was going to pass it. There's nobody that does that. There's nobody in this English team that does that. Something that you would think that's very English of them. Nobody does that. It's like they're all useless when it comes to creating plays. And you would think Foden would be able to do that. Foden does do that when he's playing at Manchester City, but he doesn't do that for some reason when he's playing for England. And for everybody who was saying that, oh, Palmer, he's kind of the solution. He's coming in. I like Palmer. I really, really like Palmer, especially in Chelsea. He's like been the breakout star this season for me. But he can't do it all. He's not quick. He's not strong. He's not going to be driving through. He was trying to sometimes drive through 3-4 players, but he was going to get past Sheher, Akanji doing that. Like, it wasn't going to happen. So very disappointed in England. And let's be honest too, England have it so easy on this side. At least easier than the other side, which is Portugal, France, Germany, Spain. So they could only go so far. But you do have cases where I think it was 2014 Argentina maybe, like all their games were like 1-0, 0-0, tie, extra time, penalty. The same thing with Portugal 2016. I think all their games pretty much leading up to the final was tying, penalties, 1-0, barely winning. So maybe, yeah, England could go all the way to the final and even win it. I doubt it. I mean, this is not the way I want to see England win it, I don't want to see them winning it like this. But I mean, if you're an English fan, you probably won't care as long as they win it, right? It's just the strangest thing to say that they're in the semifinal. And it doesn't matter if they deserve it or not. They're in the semifinals, so obviously to some degree they do deserve it. It's just, I don't get this. I don't get what's going on. I really don't get what's going on. It's just predictable. It's boring. It's slow. There's no enthusiasm. It looks like they don't care. I know that they do, but it just doesn't look like that. There's no creativity. There's no craftsmanship. It's just very stale. So yeah, that's my rant for the England versus Switzerland game. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.